JMP-U and UD connector video using PermAlert's new crimp style connection. PermAlert provides these connections prepackaged. In the package, you'll have your outer containment ferrule, your inner pin ferrule, and your main plug body and a mastic line shrink tube. Also in the package are installation instructions showing the cutback of each step during the connection process. Today we are using JMP-UD cable. JMP-UD cable has a dry outer ground, where JMP-U cable, which we use on underground installations, has a sticky water blocking substance on the ground to prevent water from migrating into the cable. The following process should be used. Using a small diagonal cutter, I'm going to go ahead and prep the end and make sure my cut is square. So the next thing I'm going to do is this is my Ideal Strip Master part 45-262. You have two cutting inserts. One cutting insert is to cut the outer jacket, the other to cut the dielectric around the inner conductor. You always want to have the inserts facing you during this step. You're going to put your cable in through the back side. You want to keep the cable square, and you're going to strip. As you can see, I have stripped approximately a ½ inch. The instruction guide spells out that should be 0.57, so a little over a ½ inch. So we're going to get our scale here and make sure that we're at that dimension. The next step is we're going to take the Ideal Strip Master and we're going to go to the smaller setting. And we're going to bring it in from the back side, and we're going to come back approximately 3/16 and strip. Now you want to be careful as not to damage the inner pin on the retraction of the tool. The next step is getting your scale and making sure that dimension is around 3/16, which it is. So the next step is you're going to put your mastic line shrink tube onto the cable. You're going to put your outer ground ferrule onto the cable. Then you're going to fold back your outer ground, exposing your dielectric. At this point, you're going to get your interconductor ferrule, and being very careful, you're going to insert this on the inner pin. You want to make sure you don't flare a wire over during this step. So you're going to put this on the inner pin all the way down to the dielectric. At this point, you're going to take your cycling crimp tool, part 30-593, and you're going to go down to the second crimp die, which is the 0.68. And you're going to lay that in that setting. And you're going to lay that into that setting, and you're going to crimp. Once it's crimped, basically it's a hexagonal crimp, you're going to tug on the outer ferrule to make sure it's a secure fit. Then you're going to take your main plug body. You can take this cap off, and you're going to slide it down over the ferrule onto the dielectric, and you're going to push it all the way down to the jacket. Once that's done, you're going to bring up your ground, and you're going to bring up your outer ferrule. At this point, you're going to use your other tool, which is your ideal part number 3573, and we're going to use this bottom die. We're going to go right to this line transition and crimp right behind the line. So we're going to put it in our tool right to that line and crimp. As you can see, it's a hexagonal crimp. I can tug on it, make sure it's a secure fit. The next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to check it with an ohm meter. I'm going to put my ohm meter on ohms or omega. I am going to test it to make sure I have an audible. I'm going from the outer housing to the inner pin, and it should read open, in which it does. To test it, I can test it there. So now I'm going to slide my mastic line shrink tube over the crimped area, taking my hot air gun I am going to shrink the mastic line shrink tube to the cable. So now this is the finished connection. As you can see, the interconductor ferrule has come out into the connection. The next step is the connection to the straight adapter. So when you are putting this together, you want to, there's a V groove on the straight adapter, and there's a V groove inside the male. You want to make sure that those made up properly and screwed together. If they're done properly, you will not see threads in between the connections. And this is your finished new style connector for JMP-U and UD cable.